All right, guys, so we're going to do a quick Gemini reading. I want to do an energy pull for a Gemini because I am a Gemini rising, or sun. I'm a Gemini sun. I'm a Virgo rising, I think. But anyway, something about I got a reading, something about traveling or about going to like family or home in this Wisconsin. So I just want to pull energy, and this is for all Geminis. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Don't make it make sense is what that means. If it's not for you, just leave it for the next person, okay? Wow, these are some powerful cards, Gemini. Yeah, so it looks like there's something going on. Something's going to balance itself out here. Judgment is, you know, people say judgment is like a renewal or like a rejuvenation, I guess you could say, or like a revamping of, like a redesign, right? But to me, this is the universe testing us. That's the way I incorporate that card. This is like a testing. And then when you pass the test, it's not just about learning the lesson, it's also about making sure that you put that lesson in your life, like you incorporate it in your life, right? Look at the Chariots in reverse. I don't think going anywhere. Nowhere. Look at that, 3 major arcana cards, Gemini. Wow. Okay. King of Swords, he sees. All right, so the Justice card is Libra. So balance yourself out. It is 11, so 1 plus 1 is 2. That's balance, harmony, something aligning, the scales balancing themselves out. So whatever was out of balance is now coming into balance, if that makes sense. Could have to be something with a law, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Look, her sword is straight up. She sits with poise. This is Libra. It's ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of love. So there's balance, love, harmony, desire. This is the only, it's ruled in like relationships, okay? So justice is ruled in relationships because it's the only sign in the zodiac that's harmonizing in advice for we, because all the other cards are I. This one is we, okay? So sit down, and the way she's sitting down, she's perfectly still. She allows herself to be quiet, so her mind can see clearly, right? So this is how you learn how to work with karma, and like through your choices and the decisions that you make. So she sits with poise, like I said. She's very calm. She's sitting up straight. She's very fair. The truth, the law, marriage, possibly even, or even legal things. So it doesn't, and I'm not seeing anything bad. I can also, like, let's pull a card on it. So I'm not seeing anything bad with the Justice card at all, but it could be something illegal. But basically, this is like the karma card. So if you made her key phrase is every action is a choice, meaning that whatever actions that we take, that's our choices. God gave us free will, and that's the karma that comes out. So we learn how to work with our karma. Here's the Queen of Pentacles. Now this is Capricorn energy. She's like the grandmother of the deck to me. When I say grandmother, because she's very nurturing. Do you see how she's looking down at that pentacle? She's nurturing that pentacle. So it also has to do with, because it's pentacles, it has earth signs, so it has to do with our 3D world or something in our 3D aspect. So it could be with the home or work, things like that. So, but whatever it is, very nurturing aspect, compassionate aspect. And the queen, every queen is specifically good at something, and she's specifically good at the compassion, the nurturing, right? So this could be you. It could also represent somebody in your energy. But it is an earth sign, which is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo energy. So it's water, Bana, so that's the Great Mother. So it's our subconscious, right? Understanding. Queens are about understanding. Each queen is best at something. So the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn, playing the hand that you were dealt. Her key phrase is playing the hand that you were dealt. So she's about perseverance, grace, nurturing, like I said. She can go further on less, and she works her fingers to the bone, but she manages, okay? So she makes things work, and she only does that for the people deserving in her life. So like my grandmother used to treat us, her family, like royalty, right? Because that's the way she loved us. She looked at us and, you know, treated us as such because that's who we were in her mind, which, you know, like that's how we were raised, and we always held that aspect of ourselves, of that highest regard, because of that reasoning. But without her having that kind of grace, or like playing the hand that you were dealt, or working her fingers to the bone, she only does that for specific few, not everybody. Do you see what I'm saying? What, baby? My cat is watching those videos, so she's going a little bit crazy. So don't mind her. Next one is Judgment. So Judgment is another major arcana. It's the card that is before the World card, which is the last card of the major arcana. So this is number 20. So 20 could be significant. Birthday could be on the 20. Could be life path 2. This is 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 0 is 2. So there's 2, 2. Could be seeing 2, 2, 2 a lot. It's harmony. It's balance. You're coming full circle about something, right? So Judgment is number 20. It's Pluto. Listen to the inner call and moving away from the past. You're dropping personality. You're taking a step. You're acting on it. You're actually doing it. So you're not just talking about it. You're actually putting it into motion, if you will. Okay. So that's what Spirit's saying. Listen to your inner call. You're moving away from the past and dropping your personality, taking a step. You're acting on. Just do it. That's what Spirit says. Just if there's something you want to do, just do it. And let's clarify that with another card. Now, these are general readings, meaning that not every Gemini is going to be going through the exact same thing that every other Gemini is going through. So if you want a more personal, detailed read, just message me, okay? So here is the Pisces card. It's the Moon card. So very interesting. Moon is number 18, so 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 also represents like the self. But the moon, people say the moon is kind of like, because it's in the dark, that it's secretive. I don't look at it like that. And this is the reason why. The moon is reflecting off the sun. Okay, so the sun is, basically the energy source of, life, right? The most energy in the world is the sun. So it's reflecting off the sun, but not so much in the dark. Do you see what I'm saying? It's reflecting the light off of the sun. So this is Pisces, Neptune. This is like evolution, okay? The path of spiritual attainment. There's a... so this is similar to the Hermit, okay? And I'll tell you why. So 18, 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 is the Hermit, right? So going beyond going beyond like the bonds, or like of the known, right? So you're going beyond what you know, and it's like organizing truth, okay? Sleep brings counsel, not deceived by highs. Keep your eyes on the goal, okay? Don't be deceived by highs and lows on your path, okay? So that's what it's saying. This is evolution. There's a path of spiritual attainment here. This profile is similar to the Hermit. So the Hermit, what he does is he takes himself out of a situation. He gains clarity, insight, so that nobody can taint him. Nobody can have influence on his decisions or his outlook on things, right? So as soon as he comes to that introspection, then he is walking toward, he doesn't know, like, he's got his lantern, right? And his lantern only illuminates the next few steps, because we're not to know the whole entire journey. If we knew the whole entire journey, it wouldn't be a learning process. We wouldn't be learning anything at all. It's just like, yeah, well, we already know what's going to happen, the outcome, so what's the point, right? So that's the reason why we're not to know the whole entire journey. So what happens is that lantern lights up the next few steps, because as long as he keeps moving forward, it's going to get him to where he needs to go. Okay, so that's what Spirit is saying with this Moon card, is that go beyond the bonds of the known. Okay, go into the unknown, things that you don't know. Try something that you don't usually do, or talk to the person that you usually wouldn't talk to, or put yourself out there if you don't really put yourself out there. I never really do, so I'm kind of trying to change up my whole entire life, actually. So that's pretty interesting that it came to that. But it also says organize the truth, right? Sleep does bring counsel, so pay attention to your dreams, or letting you know, but don't be deceived by the highs and lows on your path. Okay, so sometimes people might come in and you might be like, oh my gosh, like that person like is just so wonderful that they bring you make you feel all warm inside. Doesn't mean that you have to go marry them, you know, or be with them, or, you know, now you're gonna sit there and focus on them for the next 6 months. Don't do that. And then also, if there's any lows in your life, don't focus on that. Don't sit there and think that your life is a failure. You know, it's just bumps and hiccups in the past. Stay on your path and keep your eyes on the goal. Okay, when you keep your eyes on the goal, the sun, or even in the dark, even in nighttime, or even when you can't see things clearly, that spirit or the universe will always still be using the sun to illuminate that light to guide you through the dark. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Just keep your eyes on the goal no matter what. And number 4 of Pentacles. So Pentacles represents earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So this is like letting go, okay, of things that are not serving you. So 4s are the merit of deservingness in our human nature, what we feel like we deserve, what we want, what we think we know is best. How do we really know what's best for us? Do we really know? I don't think we do. I'm a completely different person than I was 5 years ago, and I'm going to be a completely different person in 5 years. See what I'm saying? So when we're going through this life, we grab onto things in this 3D physical world of what we think will make us happy, right? And then we hang on to it. We hang on to it so tight because we're afraid of losing it. But really, in all actuality, anything that's yours, you don't have to hang on to. It'll just be yours, right? So if you can see this miser here has 4 pentacles, and he's planted on these pentacles, almost like a possession or an obsession, right? Like planted, like these are mine. They're not going nowhere. See that? And then there's one on his head because it's always constantly on his mind. Things that are always constantly on our mind, they take control over us, and then we don't have no control over our thoughts or how, you know, like in a healthy aspect of our minds, right? An obsession is not good because you sit there and you dwell on one single thing in our mind, and that's, can you imagine that rabbit hole? No. It's not healthy. And then look at that, how he's holding the pentacle. He's not holding it like this. He's holding it like this, like the ship's wheel, like mind. Do you see what I'm saying? So anything you're holding on to like this would be cause of, hey, do you hear my cat? She's doing that to the birds. I wonder why they trill like that. Anyways, anything that you're holding on to that's much an obsession or a possession is going to bring misery. So in reverse, it's telling me that you're letting that go. Nice, Gemini. That's good, because anything that hanging on to something we think that it's gonna, these things or objects in the 3D world will make our cause our happiness. That's not true. So here is the Queen of Cups. Now you could be dealing with a water sign. However, water is also our feelings and our emotions. So the Queen is water, right? She's panache, she's understanding. And if you can see, she's looking at that cup. And if you can see that, this cup right here, that is not like no other cup in the whole deck, right? So that is Spirit trying to say, there's nobody like you. There's nobody. Everybody tries. You know, everybody's like wondering, like, what is she looking at? She's looking at her cup because it's so different from all the other cups. She's different. You know, she has emotional composure. She's not in too much and she's not in too little, right? She found that balance in the middle. That's what I look at the moon. I always look at the middle ground, because like if you think about it, this is a wolf, and this is a domesticated dog. So these are two complete polar opposites. And then these 2 towers, complete polar opposites, and then the sun and the moon, so complete polar opposites, right? That's the balance of this world, is those 2 complete, the yin and the yang, the man and the woman, the hot and the cold, right? And to me, it's finding that balance in the middle, that middle ground. That's what I look at that. And that would be, you know, how we stay on our path. We have to find, our path is to find that middle ground, right? Not your truth, their truth, but God's truth, or the truth, whatever you want to say. But anyway, back to what I was saying, is that she has emotional composure. So it's not too much and it's not too little. She's not being the wolf, but she's not being the domesticated dog either, right? She's not laying down and just taking it. And she's also not a wild, raging, you know, animal, if you will. And she's not hot or cold or left or right, right? So she's right in the middle. Her foot right there is in the water. And that is, of course, water represents our emotions. So she's in control of her emotions, and it reflects back. So there might be somebody who's actually mirroring you. What's interesting is that, look at, there's 2 queens here. Now, it could represent you, but it could also represent other females in your life. Or there is no gender in the spirit world. So anybody that's holding this type of energy, if you will, it doesn't have to be a masculine, feminine per se, okay? But In our world, it is. So it could be. Do you see what I'm saying? Like in spirit world, they don't look at it like that. However, we're here, not there. So it could represent a female or a feminine energy, if you will. Some men have more feminine energies than masculine, and then some women, it's just the way that it is. That's the way that it goes. So don't take it in out of context. Okay, is what I mean. So she has emotional composure. Okay, so she's the best telepathic sender and receiver. She's psychic. Okay, she's imaginative. She's beautiful. There's no other cup like it. And she sits out at the water's edge. It's a very magical place, and it's reflecting back at her. So something is reflecting back at you, mirroring you, if you will. Okay. Then the Chariot. So the Chariot is Cancer energy. You could be dealing with a Cancer. However, this is the vehicle of the tarot. So this is telling me you're not traveling anywhere. You're not going anywhere, right? So it's because it's in reverse, which is crazy because I just had a reading before about traveling. So like when we make decisions, just letting you know that energy, or when you do a reading, right, is set at that energy. Then when you get input about it, it changes that energy. Okay, so that's why tarot is always forever changing, because we're always, our energy changes. It never goes away, but it transforms, right? So just that quick, it could do that. So here's Cancer, number 7. It's about the moon. And so in reverse, in the lower polarity, this is like maybe torn apart from your senses, or pulled this way or pulled that way. So you could be feeling like you're being pulled in 2 different directions. So that way, close to higher influence and experiencing defeat. You might feel like defeated, right? Or you might be going off your path, pulled from other energies, right? So be mindful of that, okay? You need to be very protective of your energy, and I say that to everybody all the time because we need to be. Our energy is very sacred, and it is in the core of who we are. It's our light, and if you let other people cloud that or taint it or poison it, then we can never be, our light dims, right? So don't let people steer you in the wrong direction. You stay on your own path. Don't, if somebody's in your life and they start going down a different road that you can't follow them, then you can't follow them. Like maybe down the road, if you guys end up being in the same energy or the same frequency, then maybe you guys will meet up again. But until then, you need to follow your own path. You need to don't feel defeated, because with everything that happens with us, it's a learning process. It's a growth. Okay, it's where there are no perpetrators and there's no victims here. Everything is perfectly designed in this world to get us to where we need to be and where we need to go for our higher being and who we are at our core. Okay, so don't ever feel defeated as a, like you never win or nothing ever goes in your favor, because that's not true. Because every defeat, you're learning something new and you're a better person because of it. And as long as you keep moving forward, you stay on your path, not somebody else's path, your truth. Don't ever go. Because if you follow somebody else's path, that's their truth. That's not your truth. You need to stay in your truth. Every human being is different. We're all different. And God made us that way for a reason. And that is so because we need to learn we need to have our own experiences, our own feelings. We need to go through what we need to go through, not what other people are going through. Okay? Because we're all different. Okay? We can relate to other people and help them and guide them. And, you learn something from every single person that enters your life, but we cannot be that person because we are ourselves. Okay? We can't lose our identities. So that is what that means. And if it's about traveling, you're not going nowhere. So I guess that answered it. Okay, please clarify the Chariot card. That is interesting. Look at not over. Okay, and then this is also traveling. So nope, you're not traveling. But now look at, here's the 8 of Cups. This is walking away. You're walking towards something. So this shows me that you're not traveling away from something, right? So, but there's something that's not complete. There's something that's not over, and you're walking towards. Let's find out what you're walking towards. Please clarify what Gemini is walking towards. Ooh, that one wanted to flip, but it didn't. Do you see that? Oh no, you guys maybe can't see that in the camera, but there's a card that wanted to flip, but it flipped right back. So what is it that Gemini is walking towards? These spirits, guides, angels, answer the true question. I'm truly grateful. Who is Gemini walking towards? What energy? Ooh, that Justice card tried to come out. Look at, but it didn't. So you are walking towards a new emotion, a creativity, maybe a new idea. maybe a new business venture or something. Look at this is the Knight of Pentacles. You could be walking towards maybe an earth sign. Somebody who's very solid, but also very slow. This is the slowest knight in the whole deck, but he's also the most solid in the whole deck. Okay, so, and him being the knight and not the king, that means it's kind of a newer energy. And then this is, he sees, unveiling truth behind appearances. So you're walking towards the truth. You're walking towards something that you see. It's not something in your past or something in your future yet. I guess it's present. Somebody's in your present right now. Or it could be also your idea, the truth of a new creative, whatever you created, or a new love announcement. So somebody might be sending you a message of love, possibly, and it could be an earth sign, which is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. And unveiling truth behind appearance is somebody who's in your present moment. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Okay, and then we have the 10 of Pentacles. So that's the end of the major arcana. So this is the the end all be all of all the minor arcana. So did I say major? I meant minor. Tens are completion. Pentacles are earth signs. So this is going to be this is going to be like, if you felt defeated, I don't know what about. This is the victory. It's not the world, but it's you're getting there, right? So it's completion. It's resting. Reflect back to the aces, the very bottom of the tree of life. Easy and difficult, just like life, right? So this is Mercury and Virgo, the Lord of Wealth. Nice, you'll be wealthy. So in all aspects, this is used well, not for mere accumulation, so it's not like a possession type of a thing, because remember, we learned how to let that go, but to share it. Okay, so it talks about home, family things turn out very, very well. If you can see here, it's like the dimensions. There's the Tower, and this is the Justice card balancing itself out. You can see the kid has his hand on the dog's tail. The Magician has the hand on the dog's head. It's a complete circle. These two are mirroring each other. So like I said, whoever is in your life, you guys are mirroring each other right now. So it looks like absolute success to me. I don't know why in the world we would feel defeated when this is complete, completion. Let's verify that. This is your reading, Gemini. I do tarot differently, as you can tell. I'm not here to tell stories like other tarot readers. To me, that's not what tarot is about. Tarot is about reflection, insight, growing. This is for spirit to help us, get us to where we need to be. Not to tell you about some guy who's got a third party and confuse everything. That's not what I feel that tarot is for. So everybody has their own prerogative, but I'm here about growth. I'm not here about gossip and making up things or being deceiving, because a lot of tarot readers, I could tell, they loop their readings, and I just can't. I'm sorry, but that's not what this is for. Anyhow, back to me. Apologize for that. So look at this, 2 down and 2 up. Very interesting. This is like a sacrifice or giving something up. This is winning at all costs. Oh. This is the fruits of our labor. So this is 7 and this is the 2. Okay, so this is telling me that you don't know right now if, this was worth it. What you went through. You put a lot of work in something. And now you're looking at it like, was this worth it? Here is where you don't want to hear it. Okay, somebody could be blocked, or you just don't want to hear it right now. 2s are also about making a choice or a decision, like one or the other, right? But there's a deeper meaning in this card, and what that is that if you don't know what to do, Spirit wants you to close off your hearing. Okay, so don't listen to anything. Blindfold yourself, which means don't see anything. So don't let anything, this outer world, steer you or cloud you or influence you, or what is that called when something interrupts you, I guess you could say. Don't pay attention to it, right? So what they want you to do is stay calm. She's poised, just like the Libra Justice card. And she doesn't need to see where she's going. She doesn't need to hear where she's going. She trusts in her insight, in her intuition inside of her. And as long as she always trusts that, and she always is guided by what's inside of her, it's never going to steer her wrong. She's never going to trip up. These rocks are low. The tide is low. Because as long as you always follow what's inside of you, not other people, not their path, your path, and what's inside you and your intuition, you can never be steered wrong.
right? So if you're ever in doubt, find the answer inside of you. Oftentimes we try to look for the answer in this outside world. There's nothing in this outside world that's ever going to answer anything, because our truth lies inside of us. It's about somebody else. We already know, okay? We often reflect the people that are in our lives for a reason. Now, this is the Hangman. It could be a Pisces that you're dealing with. However, he surrenders. He sacrifices. He's very serene. He's very calm. You start to see something in a different way, in a different light. Okay, so this is like the divinity. This is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. But you can see a triangle. Triangles are very strong, right? So, and they're very like like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or Mother, Father, Child, or man, woman, and angel. Or do you see the 3? The 3 is the divinity. The 3 is what, like, there's the balance in life, right? The hot, the cold, right? Like the dog and the wolf, right? So the third divinity would be spirit, or the belief in something, or, you know what I'm saying? Or like the yin and the yang, that circle would be the third divinity, which to me would be God or spirit, okay? That's what makes the third divinity so strong. So this is sacrificing something, seeing something in a different way, different light, being very calm about it. And this is winning at all costs. And these two people are, through on their swords, they're walking away towards water. Now, this doesn't mean that somebody's trying to win at all costs or trying to get away with something, but to me, this is like, remember when you said you felt defeated? But I think this is actually showing that no matter what, you're going to win. These people that are walking away, if ever somebody walks away from us, maybe that's the two things that you, like this right here, right? So this is where you're feeling like somebody's pulling you in different directions, or you don't need to follow them. That's their path, not yours, right? You stay on your path no matter what. And that's what I think that this two represents. Just staying on our path and, you know, doing what we need to do for ourselves. You know, you can always, people that are meant to stay in our lives will be in our lives. People that are not, we're going to walk away. And we don't need to follow them, because we need to stay in our life and our truth and our path, and let them go in their path. And like I said, if later down the line, you're in the same frequency again, or the same energy, you guys will, you know, if they're meant to be in your life, they will be there. It's interesting how he's holding 2 swords, and there's 2 people. Do you see that? I mean, you can't make that up. It's clearly Spirit's trying to say something. Maybe you might have 2 choices. You know, there's 2 right here. There's 2 right here. 2 right here. You see that? You may have a choice in something. But just, you know, make sure that you do it for your own, what makes you happy and what benefits you. If you're not, see, this is what I think in a relationship, okay? So if you're in a relationship with somebody, or you're not, or you have to choose between 2 people, I want you to really think about what it is that you gain with that person. I don't mean anything materialistic, because that's what happens to us, right? I'm talking about, like, if you're with somebody and you guys gain, and you guys are adding to not just to each other, but your life, and it's just prosperous, not in money wise, but in every aspect, right? You're gaining things, and you're growing, and things are getting better and easier and things like that. That means that you're gaining, right? And they're gaining. You're both a team. You're winning together. If you're with somebody that you feel like you're losing money, you're losing patience, you're losing control, you're losing your mental state, then that means that person is not for you. That means that you're not growing as an individual, and also as a team. So you let that person go, right? Stay on your path, your truth, what's right for you, okay? That's how I feel like you could decide between 2 people. I don't know if I would ever make a decision between 2 people, because why would you have 2 people in your life? So what I mean by that is that, you know, if you're with one person, why there should never be an open door for another person. If there is, you really need to ask yourself, why is that other second person in your life if that first person was benefiting, or like you guys were both benefiting from each other or growing? Remember I said that? That other person would not be able to be in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? Unless you're just greedy, but I really hope that's not the case. So what I'm saying is if you are in a place with the first person being prosperous and working as a team, that's the second person should not, there would be no other option, right? So if there is another person, you really need to ask yourself why. Why is that person there? Because the first person must not be You guys must not be beneficial for each other. Now, it doesn't mean that first person's bad. I don't ever take what I say out of context, because I would never ever say that another human being is bad, just simply because we're here to make mistakes. We're here to screw up. That's what we're here for. Okay, so nobody here is perfect. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here. We'd be sitting up there with God. So in that aspect, what I mean by that is that person is not right for you. Another person will end up being in your energy. And if that person is right for you, there would be no room for another person. So really ask yourself, if there's two people and that you need to choose from, why is that second person even there? But don't hold everybody, like everybody is allowed to make mistakes. That's what we're here for. Okay, so oftentimes we hold people to a certain standard, and we forget that they're human. We forget that they're here to learn lessons too, that they're not perfect either. And as long as you guys can grow together and be prosperous together and not give up on each other, and be completely understanding, and know that whatever growth they're going through is their lesson, not yours, and vice versa, and you're able to and allow the other person to learn their lessons, and you're able to learn your lessons, then hey, you got it all down pat. But life never ever goes the way it's supposed to. We're always learning something, and when we learn something, then we learn something more. We learn something else. And we're always constantly growing and evolving. So with that comes error. So just remember, guys, take it easy on yourself and others, because we're here to learn and grow. That's your reading, Gemini. Love and light.